I grew up surrounded by old fabrics that had been stitched by my grandfather before he died. He was recovering from injuries he'd received at Gallipoli. I'd trained as an artist initially as a painter, and I'd been working with the Australian landscape. When I discovered quilt making, it was an opportunity to work with cloth that I loved doing and stitching that I loved doing, but still create landscape imagery. And I established a reputation within Australia for making these landscape quilts with my own printed fabric. My name's Wendy Lugg and I'm a textile artist, and I received a Churchill Fellowship to go overseas to study textile design for the quilt market. I did my fellowship in 1997, travelling to explore the development of printed fabric for the quilt market. And so I went to Korea to visit the factories where the fabric was being printed, and then I went on to America to actually look at quilt shops across the country to see what fabrics were actually making it past quilt market and actually into the shops. Going to Korea was wonderful. They put me in touch with a wonderful museum of traditional Korean textiles, but they also organised for me to give a lecture at the university. And the lecturer at that university proved to be an incredible connection that led to all sorts of amazing things. But then a couple of years later, I was involved also at committee level on various organisations in Australia, including a national textile organisation. And the head of that organisation contacted me and said, "Oh, look, do you know this artist? We're thinking about bringing her to Australia to do a workshop." And I went, "Oh my goodness, that's the same person as I met. And I know her work, it's amazing because I've seen it in magazines before and not made the connection." So I said, "Absolutely, you must bring her to Australia without fail." So I was actually able to bring her to Perth. She and I had a joint exhibition at Major Craft Gallery here in WA, and she had a solo exhibition that I was able to organise it at Central TAFE Gallery in Perth, and the whole WA community, textile community, turned out to see it. And that was a huge thrill for me to know that that had happened. I also found myself being invited to write for the Service Design Association magazine. And so the magazine featured a whole lot of Australian artists, and a couple of the artists that I introduced her to, I was actually able to write articles about. At least one of those artists that I wrote about built opportunities for her, and she's become very famous internationally, travelling as a teacher and an artist. And my encouragement to people is, don't hesitate, don't be afraid if you want to do this. The Churchill Fellows come from all walks of life, and you don't have to have fancy academic qualifications. You're never too young, you're never too old. I've seen fellows who are just at the very beginning of their life journey in their early 20s, through to fellows who've gone overseas in their late 60s, and all of them have been contributors and all of them have been worthy recipients of the fellowship. The benefits from the fellowship to me were many and varied, and the connections I made have enabled me to do all sorts of amazing things that I wouldn't have dreamt of. And they've also allowed me to bring benefits back to Australia that I couldn't possibly have dreamt of.